State News Channel. And now, Sue Simmons, Dean Shepard, Al Roker, and Len Berman. This is News Channel 4, live at 5.
The paparazzi arrested after Princess Diana's deadly car crash are put under formal investigation by a Paris judge. Good evening. The 7 men held for questioning in Princess Diana's death could face charges of involuntary homicide.
And while many are pleased with the judge's decision to put the photographers under formal investigation, it's done little to ease the profound grief over the death of a princess. We begin our team coverage with News Channel 4's Michael Hill in London. Michael?
Well, they're under formal investigation. It's just a step away from formal charges, we've been told. Formal charges of involuntary homicide and failing to help the princess and the 3 men trapped in the crash wreckage. Now, a lawyer for one photographer said his client took Diana's pulse to see if she was still alive. The judge released all 7 photographers. He told 2 of them, "I'm releasing you on bail, and you are not to practice journalism while this case is pending."
Londoners welcomed the French prosecution of the photographers who allegedly swarmed the car carrying the princess and may have caused a fatal crash in a Paris tunnel.
It caused the woman's death. It's been a known fact that they've been hounding her for years. They've contributed to it. They must pay their dues.
If they had not been there, the paparazzi, she would still be here today, and nothing will change that.
I think it's too early for most of us here in the UK to start to be vindictive.
The investigation focuses on what the photographers did, if anything, and the role of the driver who allegedly was drunk. But a lawyer for one photographer said all 7 photographers are sacrificial lambs in a display of showbiz justice carried out to improve France's image. One Briton said he hopes the prosecution does some good.
I would like to think this sends out a very powerful message that you can't hound these people. Eventually it'll be a tragedy.
One morning at Princess Diana's Kensington Palace called her a goddess of good because of her humanitarian and charitable efforts. Now Buckingham Palace has established a memorial fund to continue Diana's work.
The fact that people can contribute something which they knew she believed in forever, I think it's a great idea.
Fans of Diana continue to shower the landscape with cards, caring, and condolences.
The tons of people are here. No market research. No statistical analysis would ever have guessed how popular she really was.
And so when you met her and opened the door, she just immediately engaged you in conversation?
Yes. In fact, I nearly bumped heads with her because she dropped a T-shirt that she'd been given for William at the time, and I bent down to pick it up, and she bent down at the same time, and she laughed. You know, she thought that was quite comical.
At St. James Palace, where Diana's coffin is lying, fans keep coming, and so do the tears after standing 6 hours in line.
There's a young lady in there who's done much for the world. She helped poor, she helped rich, she helped the young, she helped the old, and she shone like a light in the sky. When they took her on Saturday, really another star went out. One media watch group here is urging all of the newspapers to donate all of Monday's profits to the memorial fund, and it's urging a national boycott of the papers on the day of the funeral. On Saturday, there'll be an official minute of silence and an estimated 2 million spectators lining up for the funeral procession in London. At Buckingham Palace, Michael Hill, News Channel 4.
First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton will bring the condolences of the American people to Britain and Princess Diana's family. Since it is not an official state funeral, President Clinton will not be attending. The people of Washington, D.C. are also expressing heartfelt feelings of sympathy. Outside the British Embassy, there is a growing memorial of candles, flowers, and notes. Visitors have been lining up all day outside the embassy lobby to sign a book of condolences.
In remembrance of Dodi Fayed, heir to the Harrods fortune, his family has said it will close the London store on Saturday. It's only the 2nd time the department store has shut its doors for an entire day. The first time came for Winston Churchill's funeral.
A family from Long Island was in Paris the night of Diana's death. In fact, they were at the scene of the crash. They have just returned home, and News Channel 4's Tiwa Chang heard their story tonight. Tiwa?
Well, Dean, we're here at Kennedy Airport, and a couple of hours ago, the Firestones of Long Island returned here from a European trip, their dream summer vacation. They stopped in England and France, and their last stop was in Paris, the very night Princess Diana died. Robin and Jack Firestone and their 12-year-old son Brandon say they had just arrived in Paris when half an hour past midnight on Sunday, Paris time, their taxi drove past a terrible accident. They found out later it was the accident that took the life of Princess Diana. They got there before any ambulances, and all they saw were paparazzi photographers all over the wreck. But these photographers were all over the car like sharks would be after raw meat.
There was a body that was slumped over.
a woman's body with her head turned to her shoulder, almost up against the window. Nobody approached the car but photographers, eagerly going at every angle they could possibly go.
I've been in a car accident when I was younger, and it was terrible. Nobody was helping. All they cared about was getting their pictures.
You said the police officer at one point had to push the photographers aside. Is that correct? Were they interfering with...
Well, he wasn't doing anything but trying to keep them away from the car. I guess he didn't know what to do because it was really a spectacle. He took his hands like this and was pushing one of them away as if to say it's enough, and then another one would run around, and it was a circus.
And since the police officer was spending so much time dealing with the paparazzi there, could he have done more if he did not have to deal with paparazzi? Could he have attempted...
Absolutely.
Could the police officer at the scene have done more if he did not have to deal with paparazzi?
He wasn't doing anything, so he could have done something.
Jack Firestone says he had this pocket camera on him and did not take any pictures. The Firestones say they don't know whose fault the crash was. They don't necessarily blame the paparazzi. What they do blame the paparazzi on is they say they crossed the line from their job past being just a normal, caring human being. Right now, they've told their story to the French police. They told them before they left Paris a deposition was taken. Reporting live at Kennedy Airport, Siwa Chang, News Channel 4. Now back to Dean in the studio.
Thank you, Siwa. The photographers are released, but all 7 remain under investigation. Today, did they hound Princess Diana to her fatal crash? Why didn't any officials in Britain or France know the princess was in Paris? And with the driver's blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit, what would it feel like if you were at the wheel of that car? Haunting questions as Diana is remembered. Women in America tell us of her profound influence on their lives.
Not only did she touch our lives, she allowed her own life to be touched.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from London.
Good evening from London once again, where the grieving for the loss of Diana does continue. The outpouring so great that thousands once again today lined up all day to sign condolence books. This surprises even those who admired her. And as the preparations for her funeral Saturday are underway here in London and Paris, the investigation into her death turns out to be more complex than originally thought. Was it the paparazzi or the drunk driver or all of the above? NBC's Richard Roth is covering this story in Paris for us tonight. Richard?
Tom, in France, it's called formal investigation, the last step before charges can be filed. And today, all 7 photographers were told they're now officially suspects in a criminal case.
Inside the Palace of Justice, closed to the press and public, a judge said possible charges include involuntary homicide, hindering rescue workers, and not helping victims at the scene of an accident. A serious crime in France. It alone brings a possible 5-year prison sentence. All the men were released, though 2 had to post bail. The lawyers were outraged, one saying his client tried to take Diana's pulse before he took her picture. Another said his client didn't even raise his camera till police arrived.
So what he could do more? Nothing. So he's a scapegoat.
That's not the way some American tourists saw it Saturday night when they happened on the crash site. Jack and Robin Firestone were back home in New York today with vivid memories of the accident.
These photographers were all over the car like sharks would be after raw meat.
But here in Paris, the so-called king paparazzi, Daniel Angeli, with 40 years of photos under his belt, is feeling the heat. One of his photographers is among the criminal suspects.
The people who call us assassins